Billin of Town Murf.
Top Billin villains.
Hey yo, big salutes to the folks at BetUS for sponsoring this video. This is still the after game review, the Top Billin Villain post game show presented by BetUS. It's just a day late and $1 short, right? So obviously, you know what I'm saying, you had people running to me like always during and after the game, talking about the Seattle Seahawks on Philadelphia Eagles content, despite me saying under no circumstances, right? There aren't any circumstances you can fathom to where I want to hear about the Seattle Seahawks on Philadelphia Eagles content from commenters. I've said this millions of times. I'm blocking everyone who does it, straight up. Right? You don't have to like it, but you have to respect it, right? I want people to concentrate on the subject. The Seattle Seahawks have nothing to do with the Philadelphia Eagles, and if I'm not covering the Seattle Seahawks, I don't need to hear from Seahawks fans talking about the Seahawks. If you want to talk about the actual content item of another team, feel free to do that. All right, so we've got that out the way, right? The Seattle Seahawks played at the same exact time as the Philadelphia Eagles, right? But the Eagles game came on first. So I covered that game. Can't do two games at once. That's just not possible for me, right? I know people treat me as some type of superhuman, but I am not that, right? So that's why this video is the next day. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm not doing this because Geno Smith sucked. Right, so I mean, if people have half of a brain, they could deduce that, right? So that's out the way as well. Number 3, Geno Smith sucked. He had a poor game. He needs to play better than he played yesterday. Let's go through some of these mistakes from Geno Smith. This one right here was a huge mistake from Geno Smith. As you can see right there, he was worried about the handoff to Kenneth Walker there, takes his eye off the ball. Horrific play, right? Bad. All right, cost them some field position, right? However, after a pass to Jackson Smith and Jigba that went for a long gainer, they ended up getting most of that yardage back and at least made it third and manageable. But this happens right here. Geno on the pull, right? Fires and Jakob. Perfect pass that becomes a turnover. Gets intercepted. And of course, people run to me talking about it, right? As if they're not watching the game, because you have someone like Jonathan Vilma. I like Jonathan Vilma as a player. As a matter of fact, he's one of my all-time favorite players. I used to study him as a linebacker when I was playing to try to emulate some of the stuff that he was doing. But him as a color commentator, at least this year, absolutely horrific. Straight terrible. We'll get into that a little bit here. But you can see this pass right here. Smith and Jigba's working back to the ball. And what did I say about Smith and Jigba, right? Very great receiver. I think he's a #1 receiver in this day and age. And he proved a lot of that right, in this particular game. They adjusted well without DK Metcalf this game. Right? And I'll get into that a little bit too to show you the adjustments that they made. But this right here is this man in his suspect hands. I've said it plenty of times now. I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But if you think about last year when he was a rookie and some of the passes that he dropped, I was like, well, maybe it's just a rookie adjustment type thing, right? I didn't really notice that in his past, right? But I didn't cover the Ohio State Buckeyes on a game-by-game basis like I do with other teams, right? So we'll be watching him casually or watching him when he's facing some teams that I am covering. And I didn't notice that from him. But covering him for 2 seasons, he has suspect hands as well, right? So you get this dude right here trying to catch it with his forearm, lets it get into his body, a perfectly thrown pass. There's nothing you can say that you know what I'm saying? There's nothing you can say otherwise, and that was a pass that should have been caught, and it gets intercepted by Tank McCullough, right? My boy, right? People watching this since the beginning, even since before I had a YouTube channel, know that about my boy Tank McCullough, guy that I used to work with when he was in high school there. Good to see him in the NFL, but not good to see your boy Jackson Smith and Jigba letting passes bounce off his forearms and stuff like that, right? So let's move on to the next one. Jonathan Vilma actually said that this was Geno Smith taking his eye off the ball despite having replay. What? You can clearly see what's going on with this one, right? Connor Williams, who, to be honest with you, is average to below average, right? Despite how good he was in Miami, I can't give him the benefit of the doubt anymore, right? They're about 7-8 games in now. He's not that good. he's better than the cat last year, right? Right? What was his name? Evan Brown? Oh, that guy was trash dookie, right? Connor Williams is more like doo-doo butter. So this right here, what's happening right here? You notice how he moves and no one else moves? Geno Smith is varying the snap count. They did a great job with this, which, right, for a little bit, right, it kind of slowed down the pass rush, right? Not enough, obviously, right, because the offensive line as a whole is one of the worst that I've seen straight up, right? He's varying the snap count. He's going in to say something, and Connor Williams snaps the ball. Nobody else has even moved. Look, Bradford here is not moving. Lakin Thompson not moving. Charles Cross hasn't moved yet. He forgot that they were varying the snap count, so Geno wasn't ready for the snap, right? So his hands are not up or not. There's nothing. Come on, man. This is easy, right? But then you'll have Johnny Fanboy, who hates Geno anyway, who's going to go and just go by what Vilma said, despite having evidence right here that that's not the case. That was all on Connor Williams right there, snapping the ball before everyone is ready and forgetting about the very snap count. That very snap count had them all out of sorts, right? They were able to get multiple free plays off of that, and they were able to kind of slow down the pass rush. But when they were able to time up the pass rush, 9 out of 10 times they were getting home to the quarterback, or at least causing a ton of pressure. Just for shits and giggles, I went back and checked myself and see who they gave that fumble to right there. And as you can see, it says 1 fumble, no loss, 1 recovered by Geno Smith there. They actually did put that on Connor Williams, right? Why wouldn't Jonathan Vilma go back and correct himself and say that had nothing to do with Geno Smith? That was all on Connor Williams. Come on, man. It's like people play into narratives, right? People want to be a part of a get along gang, so they will play into narratives just so they don't have to hear negativity. I don't give a damn about none of that shit if you haven't noticed, right? I will continue to call it the way I see it. On this interception, you had Jonathan Vilma doing Jonathan Vilma things, saying he does not know why Geno Smith threw this pass, comes back 5 minutes later, corrects himself, and says that the defender got a piece of the arm, which is why he didn't have any mustard on it. As you can plainly see right here, this man had some damn pass protection, and if he's able to actually get some mustard in it or on it, you would see Jackson Smith and Jigba flash in your screen right here, and this is probably a touchdown because he's going to fire that bad boy in there, rocket style, after buying some time with Jackson Smith and Jigba gaining the leverage on the corner, but it becomes a duck, and then you got Cam Kinchins who's able to peel back and then get that duck, right? I mean, come on. Life is not that hard, people. Like, what are we doing here? So if you want to put that on Geno Smith, fine, whatever. You know what I mean? I said this last year, the year before, I believe as well. I've been tired of this Geno Smith stuff. Even this offseason, I said I wish that he would just go to another team. He'll never get the credit that he deserves, but people will sit and lie in wait, waiting for them to have a mistake-filled game, right? Or him having a mistake-filled game as well as his team, but they will focus solely on him. That's cool, right? That's what we've established here. Just go to another team, right? They just need to just move on at the very least, so people can have something better to do in life than to sit there and just worry about the quarterback and not say anything about anything else that's going on. Mike Jarrell over here getting that prison loving as always, right? His man runs free and he gets a piece of Geno Smith's arm, like straight up, as you can see right there. Was it a bad decision by Geno Smith? I can't say that it was a bad decision because if he didn't get his arm hit, it's probably a touchdown. But the results are the results there. So if you're just going by results and looking at box scores, yeah, Geno Smith. Last one, a comedy of errors on this one here. Now, you're going to have to watch your boy Mike Jarrell right here, right? He's going to get bench pressed again. You got A.J. Bonner going in motion. While Mike Jarrell is getting bench press, it throws off the rhythm and timing of this to where A.J. Bonner then has to leap over Mike Jarrell's carcass there. And when he lands, The defender also pulls him, and he's concerned about that, having to get twisted around. Geno Smith is throwing to a spot that A.J. Barner is no longer at, all right, or does not arrive to, which causes this interception. Obviously not a bad decision. It was a bad play on Mike Jarrell's part. You see that right there? Look at it again. Coming off, firing out the ball, bang. Mike Jarrell getting bench press, right? Walk back. Now A.J. Barner has to jump over him, right? And he's not, this man has a defender coming, right? He's throwing to this spot. He know where A.J. Barner's supposed to be. Obviously, jumping in the air is going to throw off the timing of that. He throws where A.J. is supposed to be at, right? And then A.J.'s getting twisted around by the defender right here, and he doesn't make that spot. But that's not going to be pointed out. They're not going to point that out, right? They're just going to look at it as an interception. Like I said before, I'm tired of this. It's annoying. It's beyond annoying. Just move on. Just start Sam Howell, right? So you can see, right? Then you'll see the same exact type of stuff. The offensive line is horrific. There's no two ways about it. You can't even run the ball. This is the Seattle Seahawks, right? This is a team traditionally known for running the ball. They can't even get a yard when they want to. They're having to try to stretch stuff out to the perimeter and can't get a yard, right? Can't get a yard on the inside. Can't stop the run, right, when they really want to. Having trouble stopping the pass. They had 0 sacks in this game, right? Tons of false starts. Tons of pass interference, holding calls. It's just a sloppy team. But guess what? This man, Coach McDonald, is in his first season. They're going to get it together. I remember a lot of this same stuff one of my last years covering the Atlanta Falcons back in the day before I was on YouTube. And you had Matt Ryan, right? A lot of people were mad at Matt Ryan, said he sucks and all this and that, wanted him gone there. This was Dan Quinn's first season. You had Kyle Shanahan as the OC. They were trying to get stuff together. Really much mirrored this type of play. The next year they make it to the Super Bowl. Not saying the Seahawks will make it to the Super Bowl next year, but things change once people are able to take a step back, get their type of players that they want. Everybody hones in on the scheme. They get that much more experience in the scheme. Then you really get to see what a team is like usually in someone's second season. Real quick, talking about varying that snap count. I like that change up from them. As you can see right here, the Rams were all out of sorts right there, and they were able to time that up very well there. Geno gets one right there. And, of course, your boy Smith and Jigba here running that deep, or at least he converts it to kind of a deep corner route. And Geno is able to find him right there, right? So even with that being said, it's too long of a developing play there. We'll just see the end of it right here. Gets him out there, gets himself an explosive gainer. It was a couple of touchdown passes right before the half, man. They were actually smoking, right? The defense was doing well and everything in the first half. In the second half, man, was just a comedy of errors, right? A comedy of errors, no doubt about that. But I'll come back with the All-22 and really dig into some stuff right here, man. So I have to come back with a podcast soon, too, because I have a lot of stuff I need to talk about that I can't really feel in a film study that people need to hear as well, all right? Make sure you're supporting the sponsors, though, right? You know they're running that deal at BetUS. You get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two. All you'd have to do is enter the promo code YouTube150, right? Despite how it's going, right? There's some of these weeks where you guys are living and riding high, right? Talking about the playoffs. And then the other time, you guys are really riding low, but you can have fun no matter what's going on if you head on over to BetUS and get that 24/7 customer support, 24-hour payouts, get on those parlays, right? Get on those prop builders.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.